What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to outline how much money I made through investing in real estate. So, for those of you who don't know, I currently own 90 units of real estate and I started investing in 2017. So, let's start here. So, I started investing in, let me grab my pen. So, started investing in 2017. That's when I started, and I bought a single family home for around 800,000. For those of you who are not familiar, the Bay Area is a very high cost of living area. So yes, I did buy a single family home for $800,000, but relative to the rest of the market, everything else was over $1 million. So today, this single family home that I bought I did 20% down. I just did 20%. I'll put DP for down payment for short. And today it's worth probably $1.2 million. So that is 400K in equity. I want to tally up all this here. So I bought my first single family home in 2017 for $800,000, 20% down. It's now worth 1.2 million. So I made $400,000 of equity, and that's not including the principal pay down. So for some reference here, I put 160K down. And how did I save up that 160K? Well, I worked a W-2 job and lived very humbly, and I saved up for a very long time. So after that, I bought my next piece of real estate in 2019. And same thing, it's a single family home. I bought this for $1.1 million. And I actually did a 10% down payment because I lived in the house. So that came out to be roughly $110,000. And today, I'd say it's worth conservatively 1.4 million, which is 300K in equity. So what I basically did was in 2017, I lived in that house. I house hacked. So let me right here, I house hacked. So what does that mean? That means I lived in the master bedroom. I rented out the three other bedrooms for $1,000 each, including utilities. So that was $3,000. And that covered my mortgage payment. And I just had to cover the utilities, property tax, insurance, which came out to be $1,500. And basically, I was just living there for $1,500. And due to that, lowering my living expense, I was able to save up another down payment of $110,000, which took me about 2 years. So I was able to move into another primary residence because I had to relocate for my job. I only down 10%, which was 110K. And over the past 3 years, it went up by $300,000 in equity. And same thing here. I actually house hacked this property. So what was nice about this property was it was a makeshift duplex. I had a lower unit, which was 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and I rented that out to 4 college students. And in the upstairs unit where I lived in the master bedroom and rented out the 2 other bedrooms for I think 1,200 each. And between the upper unit, I got 2,400, and the lower unit, I got 2,800, and that helped cover my mortgage again. So I just had to cover my property tax, insurance, and utilities, which I think came out to be roughly about $1,500 again, which is very cheap considering that it's in the San Francisco Bay Area. So that helped me save for my next down payment. You can start to kind of see a trend here. So in 2020, and I would say it's near the end of 2020, I bought my third single family home for I think 770,000, and I put a 10% down payment again. And this was when interest rates were really low. So I had about I think 2.8% interest, which is insane. And 10% down payment came out to be around 77K. And today, this property is worth, let's just make it simple here, about 1 point, just say 0.8 million, which is another 300K in equity. So this property, I actually intended to build an ADU in the backyard, but I didn't end up going with it because it ended up costing me $250,000 to build the ADU, and I'd rather leverage that $250,000 to buy an apartment complex. So let me kind of share here. So what I ended up doing was I just rented out this unit. I had the intent to live there. It didn't work out due to my job situation, so I ended up renting this thing out to a tenant. So next, I want to go to 2021. So you can kind of see my first 3 years. It's pretty slow, right? I just bought one single family home from 2017 to 2020. So very natural, slow progression. And, I was able to save up my down payments just by house hacking, if you kind of see the trends over here. So I house hacked my first two homes. In 2021, this is when I started to grow exponentially. So I actually bought a single family home in Alabama, and it was 270K. And I downed roughly 25% because it's an investment property. I can't do math right now. Let's just call that roughly 70K. And because it was out of state, this was more of a cash flow property, but believe it or not, this was actually a brand new build. So it wasn't competitive at all to buy it. And I would say today it's probably worth, let's just do, I think 350K. So here I made around, let's call it, what is that, 80K in equity. So as you can see from my journey, I bought my first four were four single family homes, and this was the first time that I went out of state. So OOS, out of state. And in 2021, this is when I dived into apartment complex. So I got my 26 unit apartment. And remember, this was off market using my direct mail campaign. And I got this for 520K. You need a 25% down payment, which came out to be roughly, let's just make it simple here, 130K. But I was able to get, I think, a 70K seller repair credit. So let's say repair credit. So effectively, I put around 60K down, which cuts my down payment almost in half. So it was almost like a 13% down payment. But what's crazy is day one, it appreciated at 750K. So that's day one. And up to this point, I've probably put $150,000 worth of renovations to renovate. So I just let me see here, 150K of renovation. Just put 150K reno. And let's just be very conservative. I think it's probably worth 900,000. And that gives me, let's break it down here. So that's what, almost $400,000. Yeah, put some money for renovation. So let's just say that was 400K of equity. And remember, some of my my renovation cost is added to the equity. And in 2021, I scaled rapidly. I got my 200 lot mobile home park. So probably had about maybe 30 units occupied. So it was a lot of vacant spaces, unfortunately. And I got this for 1.1 million. I had to do 10% down. And this one was seller financed. So I would say this one I put a lot of money into it. I probably put in, I'd say 400K renovation. It's the most amount of money I put into a deal. But I would say it's probably worth close to about 1.9 million, which gives me, so what is that? That's 1 point, I'm all in for 1.5. That's about another, 400K in equity. And lastly, so as you can see here in 2021, I scaled massively, right? If you look at 2021, this is when I really scaled. The first 4 years, I didn't really scale that much. And what I was able to scale was I refinanced my single family homes to pull out cash. So I refied. So obviously I'm more leveraged, right? So I was able to cash out refi money to buy this single family home, this 26 unit apartment complex, the 200 lot mobile home park, and help cover my renovation costs. And most recently in 2022, I got my 20 unit apartment. I got that for 350K, 25% down payment, which is around, let's just call it 90K. And I put in 100K renovation. And I'd say it's probably worth maybe 600K, which puts me at, what's that, 150K in equity. So as you can see in real estate, it's a heavy equity based business. Most of the wealth is built through equity. Right now, my 26 units, as I'm doing renovations, my mobile home park, which I'm doing renovations, and actually looking to sell it, and my 20 unit apartment complex, which I'm doing renovations, I'm not cash flowing right now because I'm doing a lot of renovations. But once renovations are done and I'm able to raise the rents to market rents, at that point, it's going to increase the value of my 26 unit and my 20 unit, because remember, the value is based on the net operating income divided by the market cap rate. So I've only did maybe half the renovations I needed. So right here, I anticipate to be worth about 900,000. But realistically, if all my renovations done, it's gonna be worth closer to like 1.2 to 1.3 million. And for my 20 unit, it's probably gonna be closer to $800,000 once I'm done with renovations. I'm just talking about equity that I have today. So let's just add up all this equity here to show you how much equity I've accumulated in the past 5 years. So right here, this is roughly, so that's 1 million right here. So that's 1 million. And this is, let's just make this right. Now this is 800, 950. Let's just call it 2 million. So I made $2 million in equity in 5 years. So why I wanted to show this example was just to show how real estate's a long-term game, right? Like, I started off with 4 single-family homes in California, and while California has terrible cash flow, look how much equity I was able to generate from 2017 until today. The first home I bought had $400,000 equity. My second had $300,000, and my third had $300,000, which came out to $1 million of equity. I was able to leverage that $1 million in equity to buy another single-family home out of state, a 26-unit apartment complex, a 20-lot mobile home park, and a 20-unit apartment complex, which helped generate me an additional, um, $1 million in equity. So that is how you scale, and you have to have a long-term view of things. So for me, I definitely leveraged myself a bit to scale this portfolio, which is why I'm definitely slowing down and focusing more on my course, my mentorship, as well as my YouTube channel. And it's really a long-term game, right? Like, once my 26 unit is stabilized, I might do a cash out refi, pull out some money, buy another apartment complex. Once I sell my mobile home park, I'm going to take that money and buy another apartment complex in Oklahoma City. Once my 20-unit apartment complex stabilizes, I do a cash out refi, I can buy another apartment complex. So that is how you organically scale over a long period of time. So honestly, in 2023, and I'll make a video talking about my 2023 goals, I may slow down, but that may help me scale rapidly in 2024. Because, obviously all the growth I had in 2021 was very rapid. It definitely causes burnout, especially when you work a full-time job and have other obligations. So, 2023 is kind of the year for me to take a step back, reevaluate what I want to do, which is why I'm considering selling my mobile home park to double down on apartment complexes. And you only have that clarity when you're able to kind of take a step back. So overall, hope you found this video valuable and got to see how I scaled my real estate portfolio to make over 200 to make $2 million in equity over 5 years. And hopefully this inspires you to do the same. Thank you so much, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.